Brandon, come out. We got to shoot today's episode.
What's going on? Why isn't he out and ready?
He's crying in there and he won't come out.
Well, we're going to have to do something because with me and your ego, it can't just be me and you in the podcast. We need a third to break up the levity. You know what this means?
Oh, God, no.
We have to go to the Great White North for aid.
Logan! I can't go on!
You need to pull it together, man. It's only getting colder, and I swear to God I saw a fucking bumble over there, and I'm not a dentist or an elf. If that thing comes at us, we are fucked.
Just go without me.
I can't go without you. It's the rule of two again, and then I'm gonna have to go back and get Brandon's crying ass.
How much further is it?
Just a little while longer, Maddie. We can't stop to make base camp. We won't survive the night. I think we're there.
Oh, thank God.
Hold on just a little bit longer, Maddie.
Hey guys, glad you made it, but what's up with the winter coats? It's Dallas. It's like 98 degrees outside.
Hey there, travelers. You look beat. Come in, take a seat while I tell you about a creepy, chocolatey treat that's guaranteed to drive the ghouls crazy. With its spine-chilling filling, the all-new United States of Paranormal Chiller Filler.
Welcome back to the United States of Paranormal Podcast, Chiller Filler. This week we don't have Brandon, but we're making up for it in strides with optimistic personality. To the right of me, we've got Golden Jay.
Hey.
And to the right of him, we've got the Skywalker.
That's me.
There you go.
You and the fucking name, I swear to God.
And then we got Matt Frisby, like always.
In memoriam, I will be crying, but enthusiastically in a van somewhere.
Yeah, you know I have a van that's just plain white. It says free candy on it, so you know.
Oh, now you're on a list.
If it's one thing I've learned through my years, it's always trust a white van with free candy.
Free candy, that's right. I have ice cream put on it next week.
So, ironically, Brandon probably is in his vehicle crying somewhere because he's working mandatory overtime, and we are in the Great White North of Dallas. The boys came out here to see Flicker Stick at the House of Blues, which is their goodbye.
This is their. This is supposed to be their one-time only reunion show. All original members,
unless the price is right.
The national tour.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the price was right apparently because they added a second show.
There you go.
So now there's they have a Friday night show, and then we got tickets for the Saturday night show. But they announced this week that Brandon and Rex, the guitar player, will be reforming a new version of Flicker Stick and recording new music and going out on tour.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So those two are going to keep going, and the other guys are just kind of...
Yeah, Dom, the drummer, is from like Connecticut. You know, he's been flying into Dallas for the last 6 months and, you know, spending every dime he has just to get down here. Yeah. They've been raising money through the Facebook page, doing donations, stuff like that. So it's been pretty crazy as far as just this band that I love so flipping much. I said flipping.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Substitution.
Yeah. That I haven't seen. You know, I seen them in concert 5 times up in Indiana.
Well, it's a big band for you guys because,
Yeah.
like, it's like I know it's that Welcome Home the Astronauts is a big album for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, it was always playing in the car. So they released vinyl, late last year.
It was October of last year, I think.
So I was like one of the first 300 to buy it.
There you go. I mean, I got the album too. You recommended me, and I bought it and listened to it, and I've got the hard copy, and it's chilling in my car.
Well, if you get a chance, I got another album called Tarantula. It's really good too.
Dope. Do you know if any of that's on Spotify?
Yep.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay, I'm trying to think if it was on Spotify.
Spotify is also written on his white van. You gotta go in there.
Go there to get the album. You got music and candy.
It's really weird because the Golden Image Radio sticker on the back of it just gives it away who it is.
Yeah,
though.
you know exactly who it is. Yeah.
Well, you got to market, man. Everything you do, you got to market.
Evening rape vans.
Oh man. We didn't label it. It was vague until you.
Well, now we're also selling knives out of the rape van too, so you know.
We can stop calling it the rape van any given second. It's becoming a whole nother podcast.
Sorry.
I already have PTSD from listening to the Murder Nerds Campfire one today about the Girl Scouts, and now I gotta listen to the rape van talk.
Okay. The unwanted sexual advance.
Man. Let's just drop
Mobile headquarters.
Nice mobile headquarters.
There you go.
You always got to make it sound better than it is.
Okay. So listeners clearly know who Golden Jay is. He's on Team Boozers. Every other week it's him on there. But the Skywalker here is on Golden Image podcast, which is a podcast that talks about things you can do and should do, and I guess possibly not do if the review is bad enough in Indiana.
We've been lucky in every place we went that we really haven't had bad luck. So we've done some really cool things, and we recommended them.
One day you're gonna have to do a bad review.
I've done one. I don't know if it was Wabash Music. It wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't
great.
What I anticipated when I went. Yeah.
Chaos and
It was only an 8 out of 10.
Well, I'll tell you what. With that review, I literally painted a picture in my head thinking of like what that place was, and I think you did a good job reviewing it because I could just see it in my head, the clutter and the dude sitting off in the corner teaching guitar lessons, like, "Come on in."
Yeah. And that was it.
Like,
That's actually exactly how I describe Logan's house.
that's rude and untrue, you dildo. All my toys are organized on the shelf. You know where what is what. That's not the guy sitting over there teaching Timmy how to play the guitar. I'm like, hold up, Timmy. I think I can make a sale here. You want a guitar? Well, I'm taking this right out of his hands.
Yeah, you don't need this no more, Timmy, because you suck.
He always brings the kids to his lessons to a white van.
Oh, that's the new sign. Music lessons in the rape van. Yeah.
Logan, you see a horse and you beat it to death.
That's awful.
This is how you make money.
So yes, Golden Image podcast is where you can find the Skywalker. Like I said, we all know that Jeremy is on Team Boozers. He's on the Murder Nerds.
The Murder Nerds. Love the
And-
Murder Nerds.
The Mew Mews.
And he is also on Golden Image podcast. And
I'm a whore.
soon the Indiana Chiefs fan.
Because I'm a big whore.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're on so many and editing.
I have a very loving wife who is very understanding.
The word you're looking for is tolerant.
Tolerant. Tolerant's a good word. She's very good to me. She lets me go do these things and have fun. And
With the Indiana Chiefs fans one now, I know you guys got season tickets and everything. So are you guys just gonna cover the season, and when the season's over, is that one to go on hiatus until next season?
nope,
Just gonna keep on trucking.
we are going to keep on trucking. We haven't started recording it as of what is today? What's the date today? June 24th.
4th. Yep,
Yeah.
24th.
We haven't actually started recording it, but we had the schedule for the first 20 weeks figured out.
Oh, dope.
And a lot of those will be the season week. So, week 1, we'll review the game and stuff like that. But we're going to do, we're hooking up with my buddy Phil, who is a longtime Chiefs fan. And he's pretty knowledgeable about Chiefs history and stuff like that. But he wants to do like an episode of what it's like to drive from Indiana to Kansas City and the things that along the way that you can do and
That's
stuff
cool.
like that. We're going to talk about the draft. We'll talk
I was about to say you could hit up draft season
Yeah,
and everything
exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
No, that's a lot of football. There's a lot of content. Sports in general, I guess.
Now, there's not stuff every week when you get into after season. March
Yeah.
and April are a little dry, but after the draft, it'll pick up. So we'll figure out some stuff.
Yeah, and
about
even
that.
in off season, you just talk about like big historic games and stuff like that too.
exactly.
Yeah, that's when you start arguing about stats.
There you go.
And it'll be interesting to see because I'm not an over stat guy. I know some, and Phil's not either. And Gunner's going to be on there. So Chico's going to be on that one with us.
Well, yeah, because Skywalker can't be on it.
Yeah, because he's a stupid ass Seattle fan.
So when I was working up the logo for them, we were trying to fit the arrowhead in, and Gunner was driving. So I was like, "Hey, Dad, check out this edit," and I just pulled the Seattle logo over on top of it.
It was the ugliest thing I ever seen. It's this green color.
Hey, I mean,
Beautiful line.
We got Earl Thomas. He lives around us.
I don't know who the fuck Earl Thomas is.
He's on the Seahawks.
That's the first
Seattle.
one. That's the first fuck right there. So
That's two.
we're doing but we're doing good still. On my track record, that's still pretty good. So who's Earl Thomas?
I think he's a linebacker
For
on the Seahawks. I'm going to sound really stupid because I don't know sports. He's on the Seattle Seahawks, or he has been.
I just know hockey. That's it.
I do believe he got cut this offseason, but don't
Okay.
hold me to that.
He had been doing a summer football camp for a lot of the local kids in the area.
Noise. So yeah, you're gonna have a full docket. That's gonna be
been
Monday
busy.
through Friday podcast.
Yep, and then I think I'm gonna pump the brakes on it for a minute. After
Oh
that.
yeah, you don't have to cover every day of the week. You have
I
siesta
still got
days.
Saturday and Sunday. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
siesta days.
Give it 2 months, and he'll be like,
I want to know
so
what
what's
I
the
got
idea
this
for
new idea.
Saturday?
I want to know what podcasts release on like weekends though, what their numbers look like, because I feel like most people consume them in their cars on the drive to and from work. And I mean, I know people work on the weekends, but like, I imagine most of them are like 9 to 5ers Monday through Friday.
I know that the people that the people that I know that listen to United States Paranormal or Murder Nerds, they'll consume it on their way to and from work.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to talk to them because they're like, well, I have a 40-minute drive, so I can get so much of those in. But they're so far behind because life, they just don't have time just to sit around and listen to a shit ton of podcasts that Golden Jay's sticking out
Yeah,
there.
no, I feel you because my drive to and from work is barely 10 minutes, but I fortunately get to drive a work truck to where some days I got to drive to Lake Charles, some days I got to drive to Houston, so I
Right.
can get in a lot of podcasts. But otherwise, like with the call guys, with them having their visual format, like if I can't get in a call guys episode and I'm having a day where I'm not doing a bunch of deliveries, then I'll just pull it up on YouTube and I can watch it that way. Because it's a little hard for me to just sit in my chair at work or at home and just listen. But in the car, it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't listen to many podcasts in the car because normally my commute's not that long. So usually what I do when I'm listening, because I don't listen to our episodes of United States of Paranormal because I've already edited them and heard them enough. But for the episodes that you and Alicia put out, I'm usually doing chores and stuff when I'm watching that, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, mowing the lawn. That's my podcast time typically.
So my favorite part of the week is Monday morning after Call Guys releases. I'll be driving to work and I'll just get through their intro. So I'm pulling into my parking spot almost consistently every episode.
I thought he was going to say his favorite time is when he finishes it and he starts typing to Colton. about
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh man, you can go to hell for this.
Listen,
Man, this.
Naomi Scott in Aladdin was perfect.
Dude,
That's all I have to say. Colton.
I've never met the dude in person, and I have yelled at him more than I've yelled at lifelong friends in my car.
Yeah, I listened to my first Call Guys podcast the other day, and I had opinions.
The worst part is like he's like it just powers him. It seems like he just wants to hear it. He's like, "Come on, give me some more. What you got?"
Well, and he actually mentions that in episode 10 that he's so competitive. I mean, in sports, in video games with his wife, he's talked about that in episodes. The March Madness, those things he's so competitive. And this is just part of his personality. He kind of believes in this and he won't let go of it. I mean, he's powering until he wins the
Oh yeah,
argument.
this dude.
That's fun. I want to be on an episode though, because I want to argue.
I really think that's why they haven't invited me on an episode yet, because it'd just be me and Colton arguing back and forth for 2 hours.
They joked about having us on because they said they don't know dick about horror or anything like that. But like he was saying about him being competitive, he talked about how there was actual basketball posters of him back in the day. So what my question is, does Stouter now have a podcast poster of the Call Guys with John on his wall next to that? Because he just walked in this kid's room one day to go, he was going to borrow a game or something. I can't remember what he
He's
said.
downloading an update.
Yeah, he had to go. He went to his friend's house to use his internet. Went to his house to use his internet to download something, an update for his Xbox. When he walks in, there's a poster of him on this cat's wall, and he's like, "What the hell?
Yeah,
am I doing on your wall?"
And he didn't really know him that well at that point. He's
Yeah,
like,
at
why
that
am
point
I
you
on
take
your wall?
your Xbox home and be like, "Dude, that's right by your bed. What the hell's going on here, man?" I don't know what kind of circus shit's going on, but I'll just go down the street. It's not that slow of a download.
I'll wait.
But yeah, no, I like listening to it. Like I said, it raises my blood pressure when I listen.
Well, and that's that's the beauty of the call guys is that they bring that, and it was interesting in the last intro you guys did where you talked about the DeLorean. Running on this,
the call guy
and I'm
business.
assuming that the screams are the people yelling at the radio, going, "It's a B. You want Boston. You want the Bullet Boys.
Let me
you
tell
want
you
Bon
about this.
Jovi."
Let me tell you about this. This guy that the week before they did a podcast about music and everything. And he commented on the show. He's like, "I'm all about Rush. I love Rush." And I was like, "Oh," I even talked to him in a message. I sent him a thing from Fanboys because there's a character in Fanboys. It's like, there's 3 rules in my van. 1, nobody touch the red button. 2, it's all Rush all the time. Opens up a suitcase and stuff at Rush cassettes. And he's like, 3, no jerking it in my van. And so I sent that to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'll Rush all the time." Then they do that fucking game and Colton gets R.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I was like, Rush, man. He just couldn't do it. And I almost had an aneurysm right in there. And literally, I paused the episode and I got my phone out and I was like, "Golden Image family chat." I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
The one that killed me the worst, the one that I kept yelling at my radio, was they were talking about Wahlburgers, and Gunner says, "I've only had Wahlburgers once, and it was in Cincinnati." It wasn't in Cincinnati. It was in Cleveland. And I'm yelling at just fix it, Gunner. Fix it. We were in Cleveland.
Been to Cincinnati?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he has. Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. But if we were in Cleveland, we went up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we went and seen 30 Seconds to Mars down at Blossom. And we just happened to, like, Wahlburgers is down the street.
The crazy part about the Golden Image, everything, is that, like, I have these shows I listen to daily, and then I can go to my inbox and talk to these people directly. And this last week, the animation to live action adaptation one they did, I was sitting there listening to it, and then they're talking about Transformers, and he's like, "What was that called? What was that called?" And then I just hear Gunner say my voice like, "Logan."
yeah.
And I was like, what the? I had to hit the 10-second back mark on it, and he's like, "Logan, what is it?" And I was like,
yeah.
Just sit down and type it out. And I was like, "Colton, it's Transformers Beast Wars." You asshole.
I'll tell you,
trippy.
I'll tell you something cool that happened last weekend when we were recording the Murd Nerds, the Camp Murd Nerds. My neighbor, Tom, his soon-to-be wife, Laura, is a big Murd Nerds fan. And
That's crazy.
And you may have heard it in the beginning of that episode where the girls talk about meeting Laura. But it was so cool to sit there. We were talking about DJing. I'm DJing their wedding, and we were going over all the songs and stuff like that. And I made a comment. It's like, "Yeah, we're going to be recording a podcast out here tonight." And she kind of looked at me. I said, "Yeah, we're doing Murd Nerds out here." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Do you want to meet the girls?" And she was a fucking fangirl. Like, I mean, this woman is, a little bit older, but she was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to meet the girl."
You can be honest. She was like, "Oh, I'd love to meet Ashley, but
that damn Alicia." You want to pipe in on that one there, buddy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's so cool to see, and that's
dope.
the same thing. Is you're talking about, you're talking to these people you've never met because you listen to on the podcast, and it was the same way for her. She got to meet the girls, and she was ecstatic, and I thought it was so cool.
Oh, what I would consider a huge win one day if somebody were to recommend this podcast to me.
You? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be absolutely amazing.
Be crazy, wouldn't it?
That'd be cool.
Wait, you don't know who I am?
It's pretty bonkers because we got an email the other day from a dude that was like, "I got some stories and stuff I want to talk to you about." And I was like, "Okay, so maybe this guy is gonna want to hop on a Zoom or write us a message or anything." And then he's like, "Where do you say he lived in? Like San Antonio or something?"
Yeah.
Somewhere that's like 5 hours away. And he was like, "Is the 9th good for you guys? I'll drive down there." I'm like, "Whoa, hold up! This guy wants to drive 5 hours here and 5 hours back to be on our podcast." I'm like, holy shit. I wouldn't even want to drive 5 hours to be on my podcast.
Gunner does the same thing with the Call Guys. He's got people that are like, "I want to be a guest on the Call Guys. We can talk about this."
I want to be on.
Oh yeah, they're all yeah. I was about to say that's what everyone's trying to do. They're like, I've got opinions.
Let me get them in here. Yeah,
I would love to hop on there and do a horror something with them or anything, but I would want them boys to watch some horror and stuff too, so they can chime in.
Gunner's probably watched enough that he could probably hold it.
Yeah, I know Gunner's definitely picked up a few. Well, one of his favorite albums is an album that is what is their name? But most of their
Ice
album,
Nine Kills.
Ice
yeah,
Nine Kills.
it's all their most of their songs are based on old.
He's yelling at the radio right now, going,
Yeah.
"Logan, it's Ice Nine Kills."
Well, there you go. But see, we corrected it. Before that ended, it's fixed. It's all right. So, yeah, but I mean, Ice Nine Kills is an album that's mostly all songs about certain horror franchises and everything. Like me with Wednesday 13, that album is like American Werewolves in London, I Walked with a Zombie, Death Till We Party, which is a song about Jason Voorhees. Like, it's very horror-based music. Not like Gwar horror.
Yeah,
Where it's visual horror. It's like, it's literal, like, I took this movie and I made it into lyrics and now here's a song.
And they actually, Ice Nine Kills actually use that in their concerts then too.
Oh, that's dope.
With the red balloon for Pennywise and
See, that's sick.
and some guys dressed up like the Crow and
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of music, and we got a bunch of music adjacent people here that all dig it.
Do you play?
Not me. I'm not. That's why when I did that, I was like, I like music. I'm not as much a connoisseur and or artist at all like you guys are. To stay in the subject of our show, horror movies with like music soundtracks. So like you got Dawkins.
oh yeah, from the Dream Warriors.
The Dream Warriors. That dude literally was on an interview being like, he's like, even if I want to sing that song, I cannot hit that note anymore. Like I could barely hit it back then. Basically, almost every Stephen King movie back in the day, because Maximum Overdrive had a song that was just Maximum Overdrive didn't it have a whole album by AC/DC?
It was the whole AC/DC album of crap. What was it?
Oh, I mean, it's been forever since I've seen Maximum Overdrive. I was just talking about, I think earlier today that I needed to rewatch Maximum Overdrive.
Was it the Who Made Who album?
It might be like no, it has to. Yeah, I think it is Who Made Who.
Yeah.
But then you got also wasn't it the Ramones that did Pet Sematary?
Oh, that I don't know.
They did a song for the Pet Cemetery where it's like, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. And that was in the movie. Like it just music alone is just a huge part of the horror franchise, especially in like the late 80s, like early 90s. It was just like hand in hand.
Yeah.
I really think Dream Warrior by Dawkins is one of my favorite.
It's one of the greatest songs.
It's
Yeah, they were
fantastic.
the Dawkins.
Plus the music video was fantastic for that. They had that like dollhouse, and then you go in and you got every member of the band kind of like chasing her around, and like then Freddie wakes up from a nightmare at the end. He was like, who were those guys? Holding his teddy bear and shit. Yep. I really want to say it was the Ramones that did Pet Cemetery. I'm fairly certain it was them, but I could be wrong as shit. So if you guys want to yell at your radio, you can go right ahead.
Yell away.
I'm probably one of the few people to remember that's even a song.
I don't think I know that one.
It was never. It's like it wasn't in the movie. It was just credits rolled, and they're like, "All right, Ramones, I don't know, fucking sing a song about the Pet Cemetery." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to be buried in one." There you go, lyrics right there. We're done.
I'll tell you, one of my favorites was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and Nightmare on My Street.
Yeah. That was a good one too. With a nightmare on my street.
I mean, damn, you could sing the lyrics right along with the song because you just got them down.
Oh yeah, good lord, I forgot. There's a lot of Freddy Krueger based music out there for that. I'm trying to think of other ones out there. I know it's not horror. I keep thinking about that song. Was it Celine Dion did for Deadpool 2?
Oh.
Ashes.
Oh
Yeah.
You seen that? You
I
heard
don't
that
think
one?
I've seen that
Oh,
one.
that song.
Yeah, it was Ramones, Pet Cemetery.
Oh, there you go.
I nailed it. And like, how many people know Ramones did a song for Pet Cemetery?
Not I.
I'm
Did
trying
you
to
know
think.
that?
I wonder if that was.
I've
wonder
never
if that
seen the
was,
original Pet Cemetery. To be fair,
when they were getting paid a lot for shit, or was that like we could use a little scratch? I don't know what we're gonna do here. Like,
Hey, man.
Pet Cemetery song. Like, nah, fuck it.
Cash grab it while you can.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Celine Dion did a song exclusively for Deadpool 2. And the music
Yeah, but
video,
isn't she like a movie whore when it comes to that?
she's
Didn't she
Canadian.
do-
He's Canadian. It was just a big.
Didn't she do some big song for some movie about a boat or something? I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah, good lord. And then you got what? You got Lady Gaga just busted out that new song for Top Gun 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That was really.
My sister was like, I didn't even watch Top Gun 1, but I watched that music video and I wanted to cry. And I was like, you didn't even watch it? You're not emotionally connected, Goose. You can't cry.
Now, maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Was that the one where she's on the runway and the plane
Yeah.
goes? Okay.
Yep,
all right.
that's it.
Yeah, that was pretty badass.
That was a good song. I checked it out. The music video was sad as shit.
But Gaga is pretty pretty amazing. I mean,
Yeah, no, I'll give it to her.
I mean,
You don't
look at what she did with The Star Is Born and all that.
I'm trying to remember I can't remember. My favorite song by her is the one where I can't remember the fucking song title. I know the music video, and I know she performed it live where she came out dressed like a greaser dude, where she did a monologue basically talking shit about Lady Gaga like she was one of her exes and everything. It's like, sit back down where you belong in the corner of my couch with your high heels on. I can't remember the name of the song to save my life, but that's probably the main Lady Gaga song I go to. Just slowly.
The song is playing in my head.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to
Just
get-
can't
Wow.
remember the name
I
of
mean,
it.
that squirrel is running hard in there right
his
now.
eyes were moving and everything. No, I literally, it's my favorite song by her, and I can't remember the damn title of the name. And there is
Well,
You and I. There you go.
yeah, you know.
You
But
and I.
the band I do sound for,
It's
they do a cover of that song during
Oh, really?
their shows. Yeah,
a good song.
and they do
She's
a
really talented. She just gets shit on a lot because she's a little eccentric, but she's killer.
Oh yeah.
Well, before she got famous as an artist, she actually wrote a lot of music for a lot of artists.
Oh, one of her other greatest songs, Lonely Island, three-way. It's not gay if it's in a three-way.
That's right.
With some honey in the middle, there's a leeway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the fact that the third person is a dude makes it gay.
That's the whole song, man. You're null and voiding the whole song. With some honey in the middle, there's some leeway. That's what I'm saying.
So let me ask you a question. Though, since we're on Lonely Island, have you ever put your dick in a box?
Can't say that I have.
And then you cut a hole in the box.
My favorite
You put your dick in the box,
No.
and then you open the box.
My favorite Lonely Island song is Mother Lover. I'm a mother lover, you're a mother. We should fuck each other's mothers,
yeah.
fucking each other's moms. Because every Mother's Day, there's a Mother's Night.
Actually, Dick in a Box is one of my favorites, but I think my all-time favorite Lonely Island is Jizz in My Pants.
And then a breeze rolls in, and I jizz in.
My favorite is and will always be I'm on a boat.
Yeah,
Oh my god, yeah, that's a good one.
As far as Dick in a Box goes,
Oh, no.
let me tell you a story.
Oh, I don't
Wait,
want to hear
wait,
the story.
yeah.
Now
It's-
remember,
it's
I want
not
you,
me.
one
It's
important
not-
thing, I am still your dad,
Well,
and your
yeah.
aunt and uncle are in the room with us, so
They'll laugh about it. Yeah.
That'll be fine.
I had a couple friends.
There's no visual aids for this story, is there?
Well, I can give you a visual aid. It was my buddy's 16th birthday party.
We're not
And-
naming names here.
No, we're not going to use names.
This
It's
story
too-
sounds like it includes minors.
Well, you know. So 3 of my friends brought a box and cut holes in it, and then they all stood on each side of it.
Wait, no. The
Yeah,
song is I
yeah.
put my dick in a box, not let's put our dicks
Well,
in a
they
box.
put their dicks in the box.
That's a whole
did they
nother
really?
thing.
They did.
Oh.
I tell you names, but I don't want to.
We just aired an episode where we literally talked shit about the TARDIS saying we were stacked in their tip to tip to tip.
Yeah.
You guys were literally stacked tip
Tip
to
to
tip
tip.
to tip.
So the birthday
See,
boy
that
comes
right
downstairs.
There's no honey in the middle. There is no leeway.
There might have been like
gay.
a piece of tissue paper or something.
Oh,
So the birthday boy comes downstairs and he sees them holding the box, and he's like, "Nope," and then smacked it.
that's the correct response to that. They also send each one of them a certified mail letter saying you are no longer my friends. This is the restraining order.
So yeah, favorite Lonely Island song is every time I hear it, I think of that story and those 3.
It's no
you
longer.
weren't there at the time, were you? Were you one of the 3 buddies?
No, I was not. I can give you names, but I won't do that.
Not on there.
Yeah, no.
They'd receive a letter that says, I respect your choices.
We are no longer friends.
I consider what you did in my home sexual assault. You may leave now.
Oh man.
No means
I hope
no.
whoever this is gets dropped a note and listens to this, and just shame on all of you. That box did nothing to you and did not deserve that. That was not its intended purpose. Okay, so back to anything but that. So I know you do not consume a bunch of horror media.
I do not. But since we have started United States Paranormal, I am consuming more and more of it. A lot of YouTube, a lot of. I don't do necessarily the movies because they're movies.
Yeah.
I want to experience actual stuff that's happening. So that's what I really enjoy more now that we started the podcast and really start diving into it, this stuff. I was always a believer. I mean, I've never not been a believer, but I just didn't consume a ton of it. And let me tell you right now, TikTok at 2 in the fucking morning is not the place to throw paranormal shit at you.
I don't fuck with TikTok at all, just because like I'm worried if I got it on my phone.
Oh, it's fucking addictive.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't mess with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we literally had to tell, basically, I'm gonna call her my mother-in-law because at this point she basically is. The other night she was telling us about spooky shit that she was looking at TikTok at like 1 o'clock at night while we're getting ready for this trip here. And we're like, she's like, I'll send you this video. I just got to look it up. And I was like, don't get on spooky TikTok at 1 o'clock at night, because you're going to be wanting to come over to the house. And I'm like, no, don't do it. And then we go to lay down in bed, and sure enough, my phone goes ding. I look down, and she's sending me spooky shit on my Facebook. And I was like, what did I tell you? She's like, isn't that neat? And I was like, yeah, now go to bed. Stop sending me shit.
Some of them on there are pretty intense. Some of them are kind of like, whatever. But, that's my time to work on my research, is usually late at night, because I've spent so much time during the after. I work an 8-hour job every day. So the rest of my time in the evening is editing or making sure that I've got my schedules down so I know what needs to be done. And then I go lay down in bed and I read Connor's Biddle's book, or just kind of scroll through YouTube and do some research on whatever my next story is going to be. And yeah, it's like I wake up in the middle of the night, I got to pee, and it's because a fucking ghost scared the shit out of me in my dream.
Yeah, no, the research rabbit hole is a tricky one too, because you're like, with me, I'll be like, okay, I'm researching this, and then while I'm researching this, I see something else.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, now I'm researching this, and I'm researching that. I'm gonna come back to this, and then I'll come back to this, and it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Because like I said, talked about earlier, just now there's so much content. Now we all around when it all started, really, like the main content. I mean, we're here, we got to watch shows like Taps and stuff, like the original Ghost Hunters and stuff when it started, where it was like massively popular. And now now we're at the point where it's a saturated ass market, at least as far as television goes. It's everywhere. And I feel like horror is starting to build back up. Like there was a while there, like towards the like birth of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where horror petered off, especially like mainstream theater horror. We were getting a bunch of like PG-13, just like kind of jump scary shit. And now I feel like we're getting back to horror with feelings. Like you got shows like Hill House, where it's scary, but the scariest shit about it is the show is making you think about death and like losing loved ones and this and that. And it's like, it's horror, but it's elevated horror with thought process being put back into it, not just like Paranormal Activities, where it's like, okay, watch over here, then we're just gonna have something pop up on the left-hand side of the screen to get a jump scare out of you, but there's no connection. You don't give a shit about these characters and everything. But I just feel like it's getting back to it, which is great for me, because I like you said, I've always been a believer, but I've also love that as a whole. I love it in fictional and non-fictional. I love slashers, monster movies. I even love me some big snake movies. When you get those big animals, they're about to do a movie literally called Cocaine Bear that's going to come out this year. That's going to theaters. It's about just a giant bear that happened upon a crashed airplane that was full of coke and basically rolled around in it and it's just murdering a whole town. Let's go into theaters. Wow. Cocaine Bear.
That's awesome.
So that's
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I grew up on B tier sci-fi horror movies.
Anaconda 2, Anaconda 3.
Yeah, stuff with
Sharktopus.
big spiders, big ants, gargoyles, dragons. Anything weird and public domain you can think of ended up on Sci-Fi Channel.
Well, you talked about 13 Ghosts. Like, that was a movie you didn't really want to take in at first. And
I didn't want to, yeah. And I loved it, even to the point where I went back and watched all the commentary and every piece of that was on the DVD. I went back and watched.
That's a good behind the scenes one too, because there's so much, like, those people built so much on those ghost lore wise that never even got put in the movie.
Right.
That it was really good. It's really good. It's a good movie too.
But I was always I've been a long time Freddy fan. I mean, all the nightmares. I mean, I've watched all. I guess I shouldn't say all of them, because I think there's a couple newer ones that came out that I don't think I watched.
There's some sketchy ones. There's some really good Freddy movies, and then there was like the remake one where they always alluded that Freddy murdered kids back in the days, and then they did the new edgy version where they're like found Freddy's box of Polaroid pictures of kids and stuff, and it's just like, okay, we went the gross route here, because Freddy was scary, but Freddy was like frat boy scary, because he was like, he's gonna kill you, but he's gonna pop out of a TV and be like, welcome to prime time, bitch, and like shit like that, you know. And it kind of loses its ha when it's like, here's my cigar box full of diddle pictures, and you're just like, you're not funny anymore, Freddy. My boy Jason Voorhees has been caught up in legal battles for the last 8 years, so that's been a nightmare.
That's the big thing Logan got me watching, were the Friday the 13th films.
OG ones.
And we haven't finished watching them all yet, but I've never been that big on slasher films before, but it definitely, Friday the 13th gave me more of appreciation for the genre.
What are you, Sky? You got any go-to horror flicks, or is this not really your speed?
Norbit?
Yeah,
Talk about a really scary
this far
movie.
in my life without seeing that movie. I'm gonna keep on trucking.
I'd say my top horror movie is Stay Alive. It was like 2002.
Oh, I love you for that. Like,
Yeah.
I have 2 copies of Stay Alive on DVD because I wore the first one smooth the hell out. That is, first of all, Frankie Muniz is a national treasure. Malcolm in the Middle.
I mean, you know, that's a debate for another time.
I
but-
love Frankie Muniz. He's great. We gotta protect Frankie.
Look, feel like you want about Frankie Muniz. Malcolm in the Middle changed the game when it comes to sitcoms. All modern sitcoms wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Malcolm in the Middle. They were the first sitcom to not do
Yeah,
the
the live
laugh
studio audio.
track or a live studio
right on.
audience.
And their filming process was completely different too, and everything. That was a great show.
Oh, yeah.
Utterly rewatchable. But no, Stay Alive's a great one. I almost crapped my pants when I lived in Germany after I watched that movie, because I had that DualShock blue PlayStation 2 controller, right? And I left War of the Monsters on, but I turned my TV off, right? And that movie is about video games. It's about video game, and if you die in the video game, you die in real life. And you know the bitch is coming because you can hear the sound of your DualShock controller vibrating. Because that's how it is. So I'm sitting here laying on my little black futon couch that I had in Germany, and I'm laying there in bed, and those apartments out there had wooden floors, and I had that controller sitting on there, and something unpaused because I shifted or something, because I'm sleeping at ground level. I'm laying in the bed, and I just hear that. I'm like, I just think I'm dreaming. I wake my eyes up, and I was like, it's fine, it's just dreaming. And then it just, I couldn't get that fucking light switch quick enough. I was like, I'm not going down like this, man. That's an awesome movie too. I think it came a little bit before its time.
Oh,
I think
agree
something like that would have killed it more now, especially with like Twitch and everything going on now, and his games being as big as they are. Because even back then, gaming was big, but it's not like as big as it is now.
Well, and I mean, keep in mind that, you know, we've seen quite a few horror movies over the last 5 or 6 years about these people live streaming and getting killed in the live stream.
Oh yeah,
So-
video game horror movies or
Right.
horror things are a thing. I mean, the Halo live action show that's out right now is scary as shit. It's a clusterfuck.
Don't get me started.
But I'd say Stay Alive, and then followed very closely by the entirety of the Halloween franchise.
Yeah.
Huge
Okay, so how do
Michael
you feel
Myers
about the
fan.
new Halloween movies?
The Rob Zombie ones?
No, the ones past it. The new ones.
the
The ones
newest
that
ones.
retconned away everything after one.
I'm
Which,
fine with them, simply because the original Halloween series was so convoluted and messed up, and
Oh yeah, like convoluted is putting it lightly, because you got to think you had Halloween 1 and then you had Halloween 2, where like it's he's related to her, he's her brother. And then you have like the biggest M. Night Shyamalan before M. Night Shyamalan ever existed. Like all these people go to theaters to see Halloween 3. I'm going to go see Halloween 3. Can't wait to see what Michael Myers is up to. And he's not in the whole movie except for a commercial on the TV, because Halloween 3, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Season of the Witch,
I have not.
is just it is the weirdest fucking movie.
It is
And if it
super
wasn't
strange.
called Halloween 3, I think that movie would have been a cult classic if it was its own thing. Just cut out Halloween 3, just call it Season of the Witch. It is a movie about a company that sells Halloween masks to kids, and they have a commercial on thing. It's like counting down to Halloween. It's like 5 more days till Halloween, and it's a witch mask, a pumpkin mask, and a skeleton mask. Right? So you're waiting for Michael Myers to show up. He doesn't. There are weird, like, android-like dudes walking around, like these guys that are just kind of like stiff businessmen walking around. You got a sheriff that's trying to figure out what's going on with these Halloween masks, because there's some kids that showed up with like snakes and spiders crawling out of their head and they just die. And they're like trying to figure out what's going on. It leads them all to this big setup for these masks that are being mass produced. and there's like background noise going on. Like you hear a commercial about one of the heads from Easter Island is missing, and it's never discussed again. And like the plot goes and it goes, and it's like some weird corporate conspiracy with android dudes where they're trying to put out all these Halloween masks that on Halloween is going to trigger and snuff anybody that's wearing them, basically. And you find out they've been chipping in the tags, the silver shamrock tag back, they've been chipping pieces off the Easter Island stone and slipping them into the tags. And for some reason, that stuff's volatile. When that commercial says no more days till Halloween, it's just going to off anybody and everybody has one of these masks on. It is the weirdest shit. It's fantastic, but it had no business being labeled Halloween 3. And it pissed off a righteous amount of people when it went to theaters. Including my mother, who's raising her hands right now. I love it, though. It's a fantastic movie, but they just did people dirty by calling it Halloween 3. Had nothing to do with it.
And Halloween 4, I believe, is the one where it's his niece, right?
Yes.
So at the very end of that movie, the niece is upstairs in the bathroom and she kills her guardian. I can't remember if it's her mom or not. And you see Dr.
Loomis
run up the stairs, and that little girl's wearing a clown mask and she's holding up a bloody knife. That stuck with me for years.
Loomis should have just yeeted her right out the window at that point.
You want to talk about something that sticks with you? I watched this movie because I have a huge crush on Elijah Dushku, but Wrong Turn.
I thought he was going to say the new guy.
No, I watched the bathing suit scene in the new guy for like. If you're on the DVD, if you go to like chapter 18, that starts right at the.
I know exactly where you're at. I can give you the exact timestamp.
Wrong Turn. Have you seen that one with her?
I have not. That was around that era of the lack of better words. Was like that, like a plot like that. Joy, that was Wrong Turn. Give me the rundown of it. I think I know.
Let's see. She's on. I don't even know what. Yeah, no, yeah. She played Faith on Buffy.
And she's also in Bring It On.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. And she also dated Rick Fox for a long, long time.
That's weird.
Are they even still together, do you know? Rick Fox, if you don't know, is from Warsaw, Indiana. Yes, there you go.
Does that make you feel like you kind of dated her?
I'm thinking that when she comes to town, that maybe we could get a chance to meet, and maybe she would like me and dump the multi-million-dollar hunk of man that is Rick Fox for the. No, sorry. She ends up having to take a detour off one of the main highways. I think they're in Arkansas too. To be honest, I'm pretty sure it's Arkansas. And there's just a hillbilly family that just takes and disembowels people, and you go in their shed and there's like jars of eyeballs and shit like that. But am I right?
No, that was there was like a 2-year stint there where that was horror movie. That was everything that came out was that vibe. It was like, for lack of better words, rapey, gross people out. Like there's Hills Have Eyes, that like stuff like The Messengers. Like it was all the same but not the same. Joyride was one of them too, wasn't it? The one
Joyride
with the
was the one with crap.
What was the
Paul Walker in that? Paul Walker was.
Yeah,
in
he
that.
was. Yeah. What was the call sign for that they used to trick that trucker? It was something weird.
It was like cotton candy or something.
Yeah, it was something weird. But that trucker was so creepy, where he was like, "You there, sugar mama," or something. And you're just like, oh. Oh man, yeah, that was a stint of horror movies. I just didn't.
And then, of course, the one that sticks with you forever, the log truck from, what is it, Final Destination?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, yeah, fuck, I know that one.
Definitely make you a second. There's a lot of log trucks on the route to our school back in the day. You definitely think about that, and roller coasters. Final Destination ruined a lot of things for a lot of people. I'm sure there's people that didn't get in tanning beds after Final Destination 8 or whatever that was. That poor girl gets deep fried in the tanning bed. Oof.
But that log truck scene in that first one was cinematically amazing. How they put that together.
That movie was around so long that it literally looped around and bit itself in the ass, to where like the last one they put out literally tied into the beginning of the first one.
Oh, really?
But it made no sense because in the newest one they had smartphones and shit. And then they're like, oh, I got to get on this plane. And then you look over and there's the guys from the first movie on the plane with them. I'm like, hold the fuck. There weren't no smartphones in Final Destination 1. But whatever. You're trying to get super meta. You do you. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, my favorite genre, like, a classic slasher, and I like haunting movies. I like good haunting movies like Poltergeist and stuff like that. I respect what like stuff like Paranormal Activity did, like because it was kind of unique for them and everything. That dude made so much money off such a tiny ass budget. He literally shot that first one in his own place. Found actors on like Craigslist basically, and you can watch a documentary on making that movie. And that chick that played the first character in there was like, listen, this was my last go for acting, and she was like, and I was worried I was gonna end up in somebody's basement because he was like, I need a man, I need a woman. That is it. You're going to live in my house. I'm going to set up cameras. And it very much sounded like you were about to end up in somebody's home rendition of Saw. And she signed up and did it, and it panned out because they made buku amount of money. Right. And they just now relaunched that with, relevant to you guys, because you guys live up north and everything, the new one is based in an Amish community.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the whole thing is like this chick gets on Ancestry.com trying to find her real parents, and it was like, your mom was Greta. And she heads on out there, and unfun hijinks happens out in Amish country. And let me tell you, everything's scary in your house, but everything gets scarier when you got no technology out there.
Right.
Because your camera you're recording shit with isn't going to do a whole hell of a lot good for you when demons are crawling out of the woods and Amish people are trying to get you with pitchforks and everything. And not really assistant.
Didn't they already do that with Midsummer?
I don't want to talk about that movie. That's like woke horror, and that was traumatizing as shit. Don't recommend that. I don't watch Midsummer, and there was one more, Hereditary.
I never saw Hereditary.
Don't do it. That was just haunting. It's like not even scary. It's just like there's scenes in there that will just live up in your dome rent free for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I don't want those. I don't want those at all.
Yeah, no, I don't recommend it.
I don't know, man. Midsummer is a really, really good flick.
It's good. It's just
we're about to turn this into call, guys.
Here we go.
Disagree. I think that film was pretentious and terrible.
It startled me. I'll give you that. If his job was to make me lay in bed with my eyes wide open and being like,
yeah, it's just uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, no, it's like Hill House. Hill House gave me an existential crisis in the middle of night sleeping. I was like, oh my god, what if I end up being a ghost and I end up haunting people I like? And it was like, this sucks and everybody dies. It was a good show, but it was not good for people's mental health in the long run. Which, on that note, we met a bartender today that followed us on all of our pages and everything, and she's going to watch Hill House and give us a hit up and tell us what she thought, because she was like, I started it ago, but first episode was too scary, and I didn't finish it. And I was like, you should do it.
Yeah, at this point, she'll finish it before we do.
Yeah, shit, we watched 2 episodes like 3 months ago. We still haven't gone back, and poor Brandon was not accidentally, but stoned out of his mind where he wasn't even intaking it, I don't think.
Was that the gummy incident?
Yeah, it was the after effects of that. It was the, I bought them, might as well use them.
Yeah.
My
My favorite genre of horror is like the environmental horror stuff. I think The Mist.
That's another one that hurts you so.
I wanted The Happening to be better when it came out.
Did you watch that one with Marky Mark and the Plants?
Yeah. No, because I think somebody ruined it for me, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch that now.
You would have ruined it for yourself just by watching it. It was pretty
I still
rough.
can't. What was the one? Was it The Fog?
The Mist.
There was The Fog.
Yeah,
At the same time, Hollywood is so bad about doing this, putting out movies with very similar titles. Because you got The Fog and you got The Mist. Both horror movies, both came around at the same time. Very different. You got The Mist here, which is like Lovecraftian, almost extraterrestrial stuff from another dimension. Then you got The Fog, which is leprosy ghost pirates.
I'd rather watch Leprosy Ghost Pirates than
The Mist was rough. I don't know if you plan on watching it.
Which one of the two did the final scene where the guys in the car?
The Mist.
Okay.
Yeah. That is. Ooh, man, that is a horrible ending.
Yes.
It was like, I loved that movie, and they got to that ending, and I just credits rolled, and I was still sitting there on the couch, just staring at the blank TV, just like, oh.
Yeah.
But at the end of Ghost Leprosy Pirates, it's just like, oh no, they took Smallville's girlfriend away, and you're just like, you're like, oh well, I can still sleep at night. All right.
I'll tell you, the original The Fog hits different than the remake.
Oh, the original Fogs, like, costumes were better too,
Right.
like, or scarier. The practical effects, there's something better about practical effects. But then you're also comparing it to early 2000s CG leprosy ghost pirates, and it's
Right.
just like they look like the lunar ghost from Scooby-Doo movie. They just got a slight glow to them, and you're like, ooh, I can't wait till Scooby shows up and unmasks the ghost pirate. And I'm like, oh fuck, it was Smallville the whole time. Ugh.
You see what Scooby Doo has brought to you, the whole.
Oh,
I mean, Scooby Doo started this whole
I
thing,
respect Scooby-Doo. Yeah, no, that's probably where I got all my spooky from, was from Scooby-Doo, and this one over here mainlining it all the time when I was a kid. It was like, oh, let me get some more Scooby-Doo merch here.
What do we got?
You know what movie worked great as a horror film? Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, it has one of the best lines ever, too. Be like, do you believe in ghost stories, Miss Swan? You best start, because you're in one. And
Yeah.
you're just like, ooh.
That scene was absolutely terrifying. And then when he tells the pirates to go take a walk,
Oh yeah.
And they board the ship.
moonlight underneath the water and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, that was back when it was like low-key Disney horror, and then it just
Yeah.
kind of ramped up and got a little bit more goofier and goofier. And still, I mean, can't shake a stick at them because, I mean, they made tons of money.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
oh yeah.
I think I watched all of them, but like maybe I don't think I watched the one with mermaids in it. I had seen commercials for it, but I didn't watch it.
I guess that's the fourth one. I never watched the fourth one.
I don't know. I can tell you.
That's the Fountain of
Yeah,
Youth
the
or
one with the
something
Fountain
like
Youth
that.
I did not watch. I watched the last one that had the ghost of Salathar or
Yeah.
whatever. That was a cool one too. I didn't mind it.
But that was enjoyable.
You got weird CG'd young Jack Sparrow in that one, which that technology's getting bonkers too, with the being able to de-age everybody and everything.
Oh, you mean like what they did with Princess Leia and Luke and all that in the Star
Oh, yeah.
Wars stuff?
Sometimes they kill it, and sometimes you're just like, ooh.
Yeah, they
I
missed
really-
it with Leia. They missed it with Leia, but I thought Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker's when he came into the end of Mandalorian wasn't too bad.
Someone that did it before all these people were doing it, and I thought killed it, was Tron Legacy, where
Oh,
they
yeah, yeah,
de-aged
with
his
Jeff
his
Bridges.
dad, Jeff
Yeah.
Bridges, and I thought it looked fantastic and still holds up to this day. Jeff Bridges looked like Jeff Bridges from Tron, and I stand by both.
I think we've always had the same problem now and then, and that's we can't cross the uncanny valley. It always looks wrong. Even if with Star Wars, it's a lot of their mouth isn't moving enough
Right.
to actually be speaking.
That's a really funny point because I was listening to New Rockstars this week and they're talking about that very specific scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
uh,
And Hayden Christensen is a lot older now.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
very
yeah.
visually a lot older. And they're like, you can just see it in his mouth during
Yep.
that whole scene where he goes to talk. And
right
the
here on the
wrinkles
top of his
form.
forehead too, though.
Yeah.
You can see they try to cover it, but it's just like
the
dude,
shape
he's a lot older than
of
you
the
are.
shape of his head is just different compared to the original movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you get shit on for those two movies for as long as you did. You're gonna get some wrinkles too. That poor guy had stress thrown on him
yeah,
at a
yeah,
young
yeah.
age his
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah. Well,
Not
we
to mention what got thrown on the poor kid that played Annie in episode 1.
Yeah.
That kid got death threats. It's like, holy shit.
we have an unfair culture about blaming the actors for not good writing, and you especially see how unfair it is whenever you see like people now wanting those people to come back and partake in projects and stuff, despite how unfairly they were treated
Right.
when the movies originally came out. Like I have greater respect for the original trilogy, but I still don't think they're not the original trilogy. I'm sorry, the
prequel?
prequel trilogy. I still don't think they're amazing, but I definitely think they're better than that period of time when all people did was shit on the trilogy.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the age we were when it came out, I mean, that was our Star Wars. We had seen Star Wars, but those weren't our movies. We weren't there when they hit and everything. You know, episode 1 hit. We were kids in the 90s. That was the coolest shit ever. We were getting our own Star Wars. It had a kid in it. There was pod racing. Pod racing is still metal to this day. It needs to come back. We need
I'd love to
get a
get-
pod racing show on Disney Plus, like Fast and Furious meets pod racing.
Oh, there you
Put it
go.
right together. But like, I didn't hate it. I mean, it was a great time to be alive when I was a kid. Like, you got the Pogs that you could get from Pizza Hut with the everything. Everywhere you looked was Star Wars. It's just and also like we didn't have access to the internet as much as now, so we
Yeah.
didn't get to see a lot of grown ass men shitting on Star Wars because of it. I think of it fondly. It is hard to look at to go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Like especially the Gungan War part where that's just a big CG filled and it just looks unrendered now. It's just like,
Well, that's what's so good about the new stuff Dave Filoni's in charge of. And you can say what you want about writing and have opinions about writing. And yeah, the writing's hit or miss in a lot of these shows. But the fact that they do a lot of practical effects is what really makes these shows work a lot better. Same thing with the sequel trilogy. Again, you can say what you want about the sequel trilogy. At least it looked good.
Oh, it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
My theory on that, though, is a little bit different because you might have touched on it a little bit. Growing up, we had Star Wars. I remember vaguely, I guess, going and seeing in 1977 Star Wars in the theater. Mm-hmm. And I definitely remember Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And because I was a little bit older. But we had to wait so long. So, in my opinion, and I tried to express this to Colton, and because he was so down on a lot of this stuff, we waited so long that, in my opinion, those were good movies because they brought more storyline to what we had for so long that we didn't know. And now with getting the Obi-Wan and the Mandalorian and Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was a great fucking movie. Yeah. And I rooted for them, even though I knew they were going to die. I rooted for them to survive. But it filled a gap that you only could imagine,
Yeah, it's something you heard about forever.
yeah.
You always heard that, no, people died to get us this.
Yeah.
And your whole life, you're like, you just know that people died. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, man, those people that died?
Yeah, here's their story. Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I loved Rogue One. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
So, to bring back then, do the prequels, and I know that everybody shit on him, and the poor kid got death threats, and Hayden Christensen's the worst fucking actor ever to walk the face of the earth, which I don't believe that.
Yeah.
It was nice to have that storyline of how he got there, and CG wise, you're never gonna match what George Lucas, the magic he made with Star Wars with as little new technology as we have now.
He created new technologies to film.
Yeah,
Star
exactly.
Wars.
I get it, and that's I appreciate about you is that you are the silver lining kind of fan. You're like, we waited so long, it was nice to get something, and then there's the sketchy
waited
fan
so
boys.
long.
It was like we waited so long, and you shit on us, Lucas, and those guys. And like I do like, I know that Star Wars would be completely different if Lucas kept working on it and he hadn't sold and everything. It would be what we got now would be completely different for sure.
Well, it already was though. I mean, the Legends canon was so well flushed out.
Oh yeah.
And no offense to the Disney canon, I understand they want to take it a different way, but that Legends canon was so good.
Disney did Luke dirty compared to what Luke was in Legends canon.
Oh,
and what
100%.
Disney did with him was completely. I would have preferred them to go to Legends with his story because, like, what his story ended up being, he just ended up being really sad, personally, to me. You took a hero that we had when we were kids, and, like, it's just like, he was like, it's Luke Skywalker. He's going to be a great Jedi. And then you finally circle back to him, and he's a space hermit that just is so bitter. Mm-hmm. And when you finally do see him show up, it's not even him showing up. It's just him being like, Force illusion and dunking on his nephew. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. All I know is that my mom, your grandma, when you hear her say she did not like, what was it, The Last Jedi? Was that one? She goes, I hated The Last Jedi. I said, Mom, why did you hate that? She goes, because they made like Luke Skywalker an asshole. Yeah, then you know that there's something went wrong.
They did. It was almost like Mark Hamill was like, I don't even know, like, it just didn't feel like Luke, it really didn't. It's just, and even when you see him now, when he shows up in, like, when he showed up in Mando, and he was just stomping ass, and you're like, woo, and you were excited, but you weren't as excited as you would be because you also know how that story ends.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, look at him kicking ass, and you're like, oh, he's kicking ass so good, and you're like, what happened, man? You were hitting your stride, homie.
Yeah.
Well, and, I loved Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. I think he was a fantastic character through the 3 sequel films. But every other character in that entire franchise was just so poorly written. And there's not an excuse for it. It's not the actor's fault. It is the writer's fault.
I loved Kylo. I loved Ben. I loved it. The last few minutes that he was in that franchise where he went back to being Ben. Have you ever seen the super cut to I Need a Hero?
Yeah.
Where it's him just running and everything. That's what I Need a Hero. And he's got the lightsaber and he just pulls it out of there, out of nowhere. And he's like, oh, it's fantastic.
I like the idea of Kylo Ren, but the writing, just the way what he went through each film and how abruptly those things happened, just made no sense.
I also didn't need the kiss. I thought that was super unnecessary between him and Reyes. I mean, it just...
They were very close in terms of
it's just
having their force connection and everything, though. This
Like I
really
said-
turned into a call.
Yeah,
No,
that's all
that's
things
what
call
it
guys.
is. I mean, we that's why it's a chiller filler. You know, we sit down, we get to talk. This is the first time that Matt's got to sit down and meet
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
yeah.
And like, it's cool to have us all around the table. And who knows, the next time we'll be able to do this. So
true.
we talk about all these things shape us, which in turn brought us to where we are now. Without my love for horror, I definitely wouldn't be here. Without your love for music and everything, you wouldn't have ever been here. And same for you. And you with your audio recording. Every one of these niche things that we like that built you up as a human led you right here to be in front of this mic. It's what drives us forward. And so it makes sense to sit down and talk about all the things we like and everything. Oh, yeah, we talked a little bit about horror, and then we talked a lot about Star Wars. and then we might be stepping on the call guys a little bit, but it is.
Fight us, call guys.
I'm going to give you guys a heads up right now. I don't know when this episode will
Oh,
release.
it's gonna be brutal.
Call guys are doing Obi-Wan, and Gunner said it is not going to be pretty.
Oh, man, I liked it. The writing wasn't all fantastic, and there's some bits and pieces. I've become in my quote unquote older age, I've become less of an angry fanboy. I'm a diehard Ghost Rider fan. I've had to watch my favorite character get shit on in 2 movies. I got Green Lantern tattooed on me too, and I had to watch that get shit on. Don't say you like it, Golden. Just leave it alone. It's a fucking horrible movie.
But did I ever tell you why that movie's special to me, right?
Blake Lively.
That movie, and the reason I like it so much, I mean, it's not. You're right. It's not the greatest movie ever made. But it was Father's Day, and this guy right here comes to me and says, we had our little cookout and stuff like that. He was working at the time. He goes, for Father's Day, I'd love to take you to the movies. And he took me to see Green Lantern. So that's why that movie is special to me and why I actually like it.
I would have took that as my son being like, I don't like you. So I took this movie.
So this was a couple weeks after the movie released, and this is
So
actually
he had a chance to see reviews. And
Right.
Still
Still
chose.
chose- yeah.
this is where my theory of always go into something with low
Low expectations came into play. And you're like, okay, I went with low expectations. I didn't know there was going to be a Hot Wheels scene in the Green Lantern movie. And
That's
I,
true,
I didn't think my expectations could go so low.
I had the lowest expectations. And it's like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. He was like, every year I have no expectations, yet I'm still let down.
But I mean, that's the beauty of it. Is I went in with such low expectations. I walked out and I was like, "Hey, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was."
There's the glass full guy. There's the glass half full guy, and then there's Skylar goes in. Well, you go in with your glass empty. You can't get any emptier.
Exactly.
Until it turns out they throw your glass on the floor. It shatters everywhere.
But there is like me saying that I'm no longer like a toxic. I've stepped more farther away from being as aggressively angry as a fanboy about stuff not being right. And it makes sense that there's gonna be plot holes. I mean, the original 3 movies were made so long ago that like nobody sat down and thought like, hey, what if they make a TV show 20 something years from now and they're like, Leia knew Obi-Wan, even though they had no close chemistry when they met in the first one. She was just like, she sent him if George Lucas was still in charge and he made Obi-Wan, I guarantee you right before this movie comes out, he'd be like, give me every single fucking copy of that movie. And he would be super master cutting it to where Leia, instead of being like, you helped my father in Clone Wars, she'd be like, Obi-Wan, you told me if I ever needed you to call you now. And then you also got Luke, who in the original trilogy, Obi-Wan sitting there walking through what a lightsaber is, and Luke's like, what is this wizard shit? And then, but flashback to Luke's childhood. There's a lady chasing around his house with a red lightsaber. You imagine the moment Ben turns that thing on, Luke's PTSD kicks in. He's like, "Don't hit me!"
Okay, but to play devil's advocate here, to not make those mistakes, all I would have had to do was watch 20 minutes
But it
of
was
the first Star
People
Wars.
say they're going to say they're mistakes, but it was needed because you know what? Like, yes, it doesn't make sense canonically because you figure when she met Obi-Wan, she'd give him a hug. He'd be cooler. Maybe Obi-Wan would tap in the Force a little bit more because he knows her, so she doesn't accidentally end up macking on her brother for a little bit. Just be like, Leia, listen, please don't. It's your brother. Let's keep it off. But
I mean, in fairness, he sees her for all of 10 minutes and then gets ghosted.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, it just, like, there was no chemistry there. But I appreciated it in Obi-Wan because that was, like, it was something I didn't know was going to happen because they buried that lead advertising-wise. I didn't think there was going to be a little Leia story arc in there.
Yeah.
Made me like the character Leia even more because you got to see her growing up as a kid. Made me a lot more sad about Alderaan getting blown up because I know her parents were dope. They were good parents. Also makes me a lot more sad for Aunt and Uncle Owen.
Oh, no, yeah, I thought
your whole
about
life
that
you've
too.
been like, oh, they got barbecued, but you never gave a shit. And Luke seemingly didn't really care either. He was like, oh, they burnt my I'm going to space to be a wizard anyways. I don't give a shit. But now you sit there and you see Uncle Owen and Aunt Owen smoldering in the sand, and it hits different now. You're just like, oh, Uncle Owen. And it was like, oh, Auntie, you were dope. You got your gun out, and now you're dead.
Yeah, let's talk about the biggest plot hole, and there not being 1,000 stormtrooper corpses laying around Peru.
Oh, yeah.
Because in Obi-Wan, she is the badass of badasses.
Oh, yeah.
And those listeners out there right now, you did notice that he said Uncle Owen and Aunt Owen just a minute ago.
I just in my head, it just like, he's like, oh, no, Uncle Owen's there. And I was just like, think like, just its last name. I don't know. It just what's her
Peru.
Yeah, Maru. Yeah, and they should have been a bunch of dead stormtroopers because he's like, we need to hide, and she was like, fuck that, and pulls out her space shotgun, and she was like, let the Sith come in. Yeah, my adopted. He's not. The worst part is man, they get barbecued for a dude that was like his stepbrother's kid. Like he wasn't blood related to Luke at all.
Well, it wasn't.
That was
it wasn't.
his dad's second wife's.
It wasn't about
son.
them finding Luke. It was about them finding the droids.
Yeah,
that's why they got. That's why they got zapped.
That's a rough way to go. They finally get rid of Luke and like, oh, we don't have to worry about anybody coming to get him because he's half space wizard. And all of a sudden they're like, yo, what's up with these robots? I'm like, oh shit.
So you see people die throughout the original trilogy of the blasters. They don't turn to that. So did the stormtroopers?
They burnt them.
Did the stormtroopers just throw gasoline on top of them?
They brought in those sons of bitches from Mandalorian that strolled up in with the flamethrower. They called that specific guy because everybody likes to live on that shitty ball of sand in Star Wars. And they're like, yo, Steve, I know he just got his ass kicked in by that Mando the other day, but you think he walked down here and deal with these two old fuckers in the desert? They're being uppity, and man, I don't think Blaster's gonna do it. Just come out here and torch these two real quick.
Yeah, for a shitty planet in the Outer Rim, everything that happens in the galaxy seems to start there.
Yep.
Somebody should have parked that Death Star in their orbit and took care of all their problems.
Well, I'm surprised Vader didn't anyway.
Yeah, because he hates sand. I'm like, Vader, I see the Death Stars in Sector 2B. What the hell's going on? He's like, man, I'm taking sand out of the galaxy. I'm like, are you about to dust Tatooine? The huts are there. I don't give a shit.
No, the huts were there.
Yeah.
But like, that's like, my last complaint about Obi-Wan, and I'll move on. Nobody in the Star Wars universes knows how to finish the job. Everybody needs to stop leaving motherfuckers alive. Obi-Wan done Vader in the first time, problem solved. Second time, shame on you, man. He was like, all right, Vader, I'll see you later. And the same with Third Sister, okay? Was it Third Sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Homegirl was a Padawan. Took a saber to the gut, lived, okay? She turns around and does the same thing to the Inquisitor. And, like, I was upset because I've watched Rebels. And, you know, the Rebels takes place after everyone. So, you know, the Inquisitor's alive. And you're like, they can't have killed him. But I'm like, and I literally looked to my Kayla. And I'm like,
My kid.
yeah. I was like, well, he has to be dead because I verbatim say, she can't be stupid enough to leave him alive. Because 1, you just stabbed him. 2, you're trying to take his job. If he's alive, you're screwed. He's going to kill you. Lo and behold, she didn't double tap his ass, and at the end he comes back, and then he re-stabs her the way she was stabbed the first time, and he was like, amazing how hate can save a person, blah, 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 bragging about it. And what does he do? He turns around and leaves her there after he just made a speech about the magical healing powers of hate. And he's like, she's good. She's clearly gonna die. It didn't work when she was 8, but it's definitely gonna take her out of the picture now. And then next episode, you see her ass just walking in the sand, just a little limp, but she's like, it's just in the gut. I'm all right. Like, kill them.
Okay, well,
put them down.
let me ask you this. So we've seen her stab the Inquisitor. She got stabbed with the saber by Vader.
Twice.
She's a 2-time
Twice.
stabbing survivor.
Even Anakin killing all the younglings over the thing, all the bodies are laying there. But when Darth Vader kills Obi-Wan in the Death Star, he turns to dust.
Well, it's because that was Obi-Wan stunting on him one last time. See, Obi-Wan was like,
100%,
all you want to
yeah.
do is kill me? Obi-Wan didn't even let him kill him. He pulled a Yoda. He's like, you can swing at me, bitch. That's never going to make contact because I quit. he looped. He just literally was like, yeah, I'm done with life. Time to be part of the Force. So because his robe wasn't even cut. Vader never made he never made contact. Obi-Wan was like, I ain't giving you the satisfaction, you old asshole. And he just poofed out. And he gave him a chance, and that's why Vader doesn't even celebrate. He's like, oh, son of a bitch.
He got me again.
Yeah, he did one last time, because he beat his ass twice and left him alive. And it's like, I'm wondering if it's just like he's at the end of the day, he really just doesn't want to kill his friend. Is it like because he knows he's with the Force so much where he knows that there's other things that have to happen? Or if Obi-Wan's like, oh man, I could kill you right now, but sending you back to the Emperor with your ass in your hand a second time really gonna suck, ain't it?
Well, I think during Obi-Wan, he's not a master. He's still a Padawan to.
He calls him master. He still very much looks at himself as lesser than Obi-Wan because he still calls Obi-Wan master. He's
so and it's 10 years from Obi-Wan to the first film. So, yeah, we're 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, but he still had a lot he had to learn, especially about the dark side. And so I think that, especially when you go back to the first movie, to New Hope, and he, when he's speaking to Obi-Wan, is like, when we last met, I was but the learner, and now I am the master. I think that still works within the canon that they've established with Obi-Wan, where he was still the learner when he got his shit kicked in from Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan had to shake the dust off, and that was it. It was literally like, I'm just going to flex a little bit here, and then whooped his ass.
The other thing to keep in mind is, Obi-Wan is a Jedi. He's trained not to kill. He's trained to show compassion.
Sometimes you got to put a motherfucker down.
Well, I understand, but, he's not like Mace Windu where he's on the
cusp of
the dark side when he kills Jango, or Anakin when he's actually murdering everything. But
all in all, I liked it. I really did.
I liked it.
They're clearly setting up weird shit because they're setting up something with Third Sister where like maybe we're gonna give her a show too, and then Ice Cube's son. That's his kid. That's his kid in there. The pilot.
Oh, okay.
There.
Okay.
They seem like they're setting him up for a movie too, because he's like, "Keep at it, you're doing the good work." And they just zoomed the camera in on him. He's like, "I'm just getting started." And I was like, "They're about to give him a movie too."
I loved the whole concept of the path.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like the underground railroad in space, but for Jedis.
Right.
But I'm also against Jedi graffiti though, letting people know that you're still alive though. If you're riding under the radar, she walked down there and she was like, "I thought this son of a bitch was dead. And I thought this son of a bitch was dead." Maybe don't chalk your name down where it can be found if you're supposed to be, not exist anymore. But no, I dug it. We're probably running a little too long on Star Wars talk, so we'll probably wrap this up.
Tune in next time for our next Star Wars podcast.
We love Star Wars.
No, definitely. Like I said, all this stuff makes us, which drove us to make the content we make.
Right.
I mean, every little bit of it led you to where you're going. Not to sound too cheesy and everything, but without your love for music, your love for audio engineering, your love for spooky, et cetera, we wouldn't be here at this table. So it's okay to reach out and talk about that content and how we feel about it. And also, we got to flex. Let the call guys know what's up.
Yeah.
Find us.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Because
Go.
I will scream at my radio.
Yeah,
Colton.
no.
I will
Shit on
scream
Obi-Wan,
at you
and
next
we'll
time.
be making another long drive to come down there, and we'll have some problems. It has its flaws. Everything has its flaws. I don't want to hear about it from two guys that were like, Scooby-Doo was the best movie ever. It's a great movie, dog, but far from it. I love Scooby-Doo. And both you guys are like, all right, man, on the count of 3, we're going to be the best friends ever. Let's see who we match him. 1, 2, 3, Scooby-Doo. Yes! It's the best movie of all time. Dude, the CG dog, and Matthew Lillard have a fart contest in the movie. That takes it out of the running for the best flick ever. Instantaneously. Great movie.
Yeah, fart jokes are a disqualifier.
But yeah, this has been Logan in the United States of Paranormal Podcast. I appreciate you guys coming to Texas. I know it wasn't for us, but it benefited us, and I appreciate it. This is Logan from the United States of Paranormal Podcast.
Golden J, you can find me on Golden Image Podcast, United States Paranormal, and the Murder Nerds.
Yeah, on a little bit of everything. And then we got...
The Skywalker.
There you go. He's still getting used to the handle. There you go. The Skywalker. And you can find him on Golden Image Podcast every Thursday. Wait.
Every Thursday, yep.
Yeah.
Well, every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday. And then also the Vintage Golden Image, which you definitely got to check those out too. They're long, but they're worth it, I promise. And then we got...
Matt.
we forgot his handle too, and it's his own fucking name.
I was too busy focusing on the next part, which was nobody said it. Also, check out the call, guys.
Yeah.
We love the Call
plug.
Guys.
We basically, this whole episode was a plug for the fucking Call Guys.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm serious when I say I scream at my
Yeah,
radio.
here, let me get a little closer to the mic here for Colton and Gunner. Go listen to the Call Guys. Everybody needs that little boost of adrenaline for screaming at your radio, get your blood pumping with rage, or, you know, they make good points too. It's nice to listen to them. Go buy a hat, buy a shirt. Rep your Call Guy stuff. Apparently, if you're in Indiana, you might get signed by Colton, want to or not. It's a possibility.
Email them and yell at them.
Or email them and tell them they're right. And then email me and tell me that you agreed with them so I can email you telling you why you're wrong also.
I'm about to say, and then tell us where we can meet and we'll fight it out. Because that's...
And Colton Gunner, set up that horror one. We'll come in. We'll talk about it. We'd love to talk to you guys and everything.
Yeah, and if you want to help support us, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and check out our merch store, the Merch Mausoleum. And we've got lots of cool art.
We always forget to plug our own merch.
I know, right?
And that's what I'm doing right now, Mr. Interruptee. We've got lots of cool styles. I just got in a sample of our new cryptid hat. It looks awesome. If you're the kind of person that likes hats, highly recommend checking it out.
Also, if you want to go check out the Murder Nerds every Friday, you can also catch them on our socials, which is, anybody know the plug for that? Is it Murder Nerds at, I don't know.
It's
the
just
Facebook.com/Murder There you go.
Nerds.
Skylar's got it. Write them a message. Tell them about how Ashley's your favorite. I mean, that's what I do.
Tell Murder Nerds about how you disagree with Call Guys.
Get out there. Reach out. Talk to us. You have no idea how much it excited me when we got our first email. I mean, people message me all the time, but somebody actually used the United States of Paranormal email, and I saw the message like, and before I could even say anything in the chat, Alicia was already like, guys, look what I saw. Like, somebody actually emailed us, and like people reach out to us via all sorts of other ways, but the moment somebody used the actual email, everybody's shitting in their pants. So reach out to all of them and consume it all. We appreciate it. Golden J over here is building an empire. Like everybody calls him the Emperor for a reason. Like I said, we cover a little bit of everything, and we got the Indiana Chiefs fans coming up. So we got sports ball, we got murder, we got reviews of restaurants, bars, wineries, and we got record conventions and comic book conventions and museums. We got your spooky. Apparently, we have 2 that talk about movies and everything now. So, that's, like I said, just check it out. We cover a little bit of everything, and we're ever expanding, and we're always growing. Things are getting better and better. So, I think we got it. I don't know if you can. I don't think I can legally say keep it spooky at the end of this episode. So. May the force be with you.
Don't watch Green Lantern.
Yeah, there you go.
Or you just use the C on the other side.
There you go. See on the other side.
Stay golden.
There you go.
Boy.
There you go.
To support other Golden Mojo Entertainment productions, check out Golden Image Podcast, The Call Guys, and Murder Nerds wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. To see photos and find new episodes of the United States of Paranormal, follow us on our social media, Twitter at TUSOPPOD, or Instagram at the United States of Paranormal, and Facebook, the United States of Paranormal. If you have a place that you'd like us to look into, or would like to share your spooky story that we can read on the air, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com.